and we're discussing how to plan content using AI so that you could have a full strategy and content creation for Instagram. A really, really incredible AI tool called Iris. If you are on Instagram, this is an AI assistant that is built and catered for you. And today we are joined by the CEO and co-founder of Flick, Loic. Welcome to the Social Roundtable.
Thanks, Eston. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to be able to share some knowledge and talk about all this with you guys.
This is going to be a very exciting topic for everybody. I know AI is a huge thing people are constantly talking about and hearing about, so I'm very excited to delve into some specifics here that are actionable for our guests and our audience to use so they can grow.
Yes, I like that keyword, actionable, because we have a lot of AI that has come out recently, and some of it seems gimmicky. But I have to say, there is no gimmicks, there is no falsehood. What we are talking about is a very incredible tool that we're going to introduce in a moment. My first question for you, Loic, we're talking about this brand new aspect to Flick. I've been using Flick for a couple years now, and I've heard of this new feature called Iris. Please take a moment to introduce this incredible new aspect to Flick. What is Iris, and how did the idea of Iris come about?
Yeah, really, over the last sort of 2 years, obviously AI has been booming, in almost every industry and social media as well. And we've been trying to keep up with that, adding some AI functionality to our tool. It started off with very sort of basic functionality like a basic caption writer, a basic functionality to find some ideas. And really the feedback we were getting was, okay, this is all great, but I really need help end to end, especially when it comes to small business owners. You're running a business, you have your core business activities to do. Social media is difficult. It's almost a full-time job. It can more often than this feels like a full-time job. We came into it trying to solve that for the small business owners and finding a way to help them with the whole flow. And really the way we see social media is you can break it down into sort of the 3 top categories, which is firstly, you need an amazing strategy to do well on social media. So what topics are you going to post about, what formats you're going to follow, how often you're going to post, all of that falls under your strategy. And then you've got the ideas side of things. So how are you going to come up with good ideas for your content? What's trending, what should you be posting? And then obviously there's the content creation side of things. You need to do all those, at least decent at all 3 of those things consistently to find any form of sort of consistent success on social media. So obviously very difficult for small businesses to do that. And so what Iris is basically a tool, we call it an AI social assistant, is able to handle those 3 things. And I will say not for you, but with you. It's not meant to be, this brainless tool that you use without thinking yourself, but it's meant to work with you to really help you execute on those 3 parts of social media and get to, in the end, once you're set up, get from nothing for the next month and panicking what you're going to be posting on, the next week or so, to a fully fledged sort of content calendar with a lot of content that you can create with the help of AI as well. So the last thing I'd say is obviously everything is on brand. Everything that the really important for our team was to figure out how we could turn AI into not just generic output and not just hallucinations that, we've all been there. We've been to ChatGPT, we've asked a question and it's, we've asked it to write a caption about a product we sell, and it obviously just doesn't know anything about our product. So it makes it really hard to get something that's actually usable. And so we've tried to pull in all the information, all the context that we need to make sure that never happens with Iris.
To be honest, in order for somebody to really understand all the power that it has, you get to go in and really play around with it and look at it to understand what goes on to create a content strategy and actually create content that achieves people's goals, whatever that goal is, growth, sales, connection, network, whatever it is. There's a lot that goes into it. So to be able to see a tool that actually pulls everything and puts it together is pretty exciting. And I know that was something that really attracted me when I was first looking over Iris and all of the different features, which there's so many features. If you were to choose like your favorite features when it comes to Iris, some of the highlight ones, what would you say those are, Loic?
To be honest, I really love, there's two features. Well, there's one that's very obvious, and then there's one that doesn't feel as obvious, but is so valuable based on what our user told us. The first is obviously the whole strategy creation on behalf of our users. I really think the first time where there's been a tool that's actually laid out a strategy in front of you, because we're doing a lot of research for this project. We were talking to social media managers, we were talking to business owners, and it's very rare that anyone had a strategy just on paper. It was always, oh yes, it's in my head and I know I'm doing these things. And firstly, just bringing the strategy down on paper was already solving a big problem, which is you can't optimize something that's in your head. It's a lot easier to optimize something that's on paper. And so having that strategy there to return to and to be able to make small tweaks to as you learn what's working was really important. The second part of the strategy is obviously, if you don't know how to build a social media strategy, it's extremely daunting. Even when it comes to social media experts, you're working in so many different industries. It's impossible to be an expert in every industry, right? So obviously AI helps a lot with that. And so being able to tell AI or tell Iris a lot about your business and then have it pull out and understand what's going to work for your business based on similar accounts and studying the strategy of similar accounts and then applying that to your own business, I think for me was one of the most exciting things we worked on, where users sort of ended the flow and were like, oh my gosh, okay, I've got a full strategy I can now execute and follow, and it's going to do well for me. And that took a big weight off a lot of people's shoulders. And then the second feature I absolutely love, when you set Iris up, Iris will ask you a bunch of questions to learn a bit more about your business, which is pretty standard in the AI world. But one of the questions is about your products and services. What you're actually able to do with Iris is import your products and services that you're selling, give it a little bit of information about what you're selling. And that means that going forward, Iris is going to be able to come up with highly specific contextual ideas of how to promote those products and services that aren't just generic, like you get on GPT, and will be able to write captions and promotional copy for those using all the information it has about it. So, it knows the price, it knows if you were selling a bike, it knows the dimensions of the bike, it knows how many gears it has, it knows everything it needs to know to actually write some really thoughtful copy. So for me, those were the two most exciting sort of functionalities to build.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I mean, that makes me wonder. So having that ability to use something that is going to be on brand and really actually help with the individual goals is insane. It's awesome. So yes.
I want to go back on that feature that you were talking about, or that topic, Megan, in regards to the hallucination of AI, where sometimes we give it a prompt and it completely spazzes. We're like, where did you even get this information from? But I was listening to a video that you did, Loic, with Ben Levitt, where you guys spoke a lot more in detail and even showed examples of Iris. You brought up the idea of hallucination and how Iris avoids that. Could you kind of speak a little bit more in regards to that?
Yeah, for sure. So the top level way Iris avoids hallucinations is when you're setting Iris up, there's sort of 5 sections, and we ask you about 10 questions, and that gets filtered out into 5 sections in the product, where we store a bunch of information about your brand. And anytime Iris does anything, we surface and provide Iris with the right information at the right time. So if you're going to write a caption about one of your products, we're going to make sure that Iris pulls the information from our database about that product and use that at that point in time. If you're looking to come up with ideas for particular key events, we're going to make sure that Iris has the information about your brand and the information about the key event to make sure that it has everything it needs to tailor that key event and your brand together. So essentially, it's just some smart data processing and data storage and using the right data at the right time to avoid hallucinations. But product level, really, Iris will know everything about sort of what your company does, how you write, the products you sell, the services you sell, the key dates or key events that are happening in your business. So if you've got a launch coming up or a sales coming up, Iris can be aware of that as well. And all that information, when you think about it, is really all you need when it comes to coming up with adequate social media ideas for your business.
I love that. And I gotta say, when I went through it, it really gave a lot of details in regards to my products. So much so that it found product that I have forgot that I've had. I had a couple ebooks that it brought up, and I was like, oh yeah, I still have this. And it brought it, not only did it bring it up, it showed me different ways to actually promote it, which I actually used one of them. I was like, I just love the way that it finds the information, and it's almost like it's trained on everything you've given it and more.
Everybody in the audience, have you ever used an AI tool and got a generic answer or just something you just weren't looking for? Give us a thumbs up if
For
yes,
sure.
you're like, wait, that definitely did not work the way I was hoping it would.